The one with the giant poking device is the 8th episode of the 3rd season of Friends. This is directed by Gail Mancuso. And as always, there will be spoilers in this discussion for things that happened in this episode and presumably previous episodes, but I won't spoil anything that happens in episodes after this. I want to say very briefly that this is the first episode of Friends that I've watched after we lost Matthew Perry. I don't really want to talk about that too much because, like a lot of people, still in shock and disbelief and not wanting to accept it's real and get very upset when I think about it. But I just wanted to mention that very briefly, that it's terrible news and I'm truly sorry that it's happened. So, as always, I will talk about the various things that happened in the episode, things that I liked, if there's anything I didn't like, which, as is usually the case, there isn't. And it's a really great episode. It starts off with Phoebe having dental pain. She wants to go to the dentist. She reveals that every time she goes to the dentist, somebody dies. And the whole episode, from Phoebe's perspective, is about her panicking that people are dying. It's definitely not the main focus, but it's a little bit of comedy here and there when we need it, because there are some heavy scenes in this. Not as heavy as some other episodes, but some scenes that could be quite emotional. But as is often the case with Friends, they inject some comic relief right when we need it. And Phoebe does provide some of that in this episode. Another aspect of this involves Monica Bang, which happens because Monica and Rachel are babysitting Ben, and Monica, very early on in the episode, accidentally bumps Ben's head. And they get Rainy Day Bear and try and hide it with a hat, but as we know, Ben ends up saying Monica Bang. And I will, with a spoiler warning, discuss something significant about that in a moment, well, in a couple of minutes. But I'll come back to that aspect. But the way they handled this, I thought, was pretty funny, particularly with Rainy Day Bear and it being like a massacre. And ultimately, what Ross did with this, I thought, was very cheeky, but it was definitely very funny. A shame for Monica, but it worked really well. And I will, as I said, come back to Monica Bang with a spoiler warning. The other part of the narrative, of course, focuses on the fact that Joey, at the end of the previous episode, saw Janice making out with her soon-to-be ex-husband. And he doesn't know initially how to tell Chandler, and he doesn't want to tell Chandler, but the others encourage him to do so, which I think is the right decision. It's not a secret you should keep from your best friend. It's not a nice thing to have to tell them, but I personally agree that telling him was the right thing to do. And I think Chandler reacted in a very believable way. Disbelief to begin with, and then unsure about how to handle it or what to do about it. And I really believed all of the emotions he was going through, and it is quite heavy. But again, the show expertly put in comedy where it needed to be. For example, Janice almost choking on the receipt. Basically, the noises Janice made, I thought, were pretty good. Gunther's comment about Rachel's shoes, just little bits of comedy, little things here and there, just to help keep things a little bit lighter. And I think they always do that expertly with Friends, and this episode is no exception. Of course, it does mean the end of Janice and Chandler, and of course, I know what Chandler's future is for future seasons, but based purely on this episode, it seems like that's somebody who's just been removed from the Friends group, and we are back to nobody dating anybody outside of the Friends group. And that's always really interesting when you don't have a partner brought in from the outside, because it is then just about those six. And I don't necessarily dislike it when one of them's dating somebody outside of the Friends group, because we have some really great characters and great actors, but I kind of do like it when it's just the six of them, because they're so close-knit, so together, and I kind of every now and then really like it when it's just the six of them. Of course, we have the narrative involving the title of the episode. Ugly Naked Guy is presumed dead. This is, of course, because Phoebe went to the dentist and it doesn't look like he's moved. in a while. So they fashion the large poking device out of chopsticks and poke the ugly naked guy, and it's iconic. In fact, I had a jigsaw puzzle. I had a friend's jigsaw puzzle at one point with that scene on it, the scene where they're poking him. It's a pretty solid way to end the episode. It's not the final scene. I believe it's the penultimate scene. The final scene is Chandler and Phoebe singing Lionel Richie, and that's a pretty emotional way to end it, actually. But again, with some comedy in there as well. Really solid episode. Very funny when it needs to be, a little emotional at other times. So, spoilers from now. Big, big spoilers for something that happens like a couple of seasons down the line. But I'm coming back to Monica Bang. And big spoilers from now. And when Ben says Monica Bang, the way he says it, it 100% sounds like Monica Bing. And I'm not the only person to, notice this. It's all over the internet that Ben predicted Monica and Chandler. I love it. I can only hear Monica Bing whenever I watch this. So yeah, love that as well. Really great episode. A little bit more emotional. Chandler's scenes hit a little differently now, but still an absolute joy to watch. The one with the giant poking device is a brilliant episode.